CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Viewers, friends, today is a day that holds great promise. And over the next half an hour, 40 minutes, viewers, I'll explain why, we'll discuss why. And let's hope that history doesn't repeat itself as a farce today, viewers. It's an important debate. As you know, India is a secular country. Our constitution is absolutely clear. All religions are equal and all adherents are equal before the law. But this textbook definition is not followed in letter or spirit, viewers. You may be surprised, but many exceptions exist. Some marriage customs, inheritance laws, and religious observances are more equal than others. As a rule of thumb, Hindu customs have been codified and are subject to the law of the land, while those of other faiths are considered beyond the pale of jurisdiction. For instance, it is illegal for a Hindu to be polygamous, but a Muslim can marry 4 times. Now, viewers, how can this be? How can there be 2 sets of laws for 2 citizens? This is why, viewers, I say that this textbook definition that all religions are equal, that all adherents of these religions are equal under the law, exists only, viewers, on paper. Nevertheless, and this is why today is important, viewers, the Supreme Court has taken a gigantic step in the direction of bringing about some uniformity in law. The Supreme Court loosened the shackles of at least one Sharia edict that has long disadvantaged Muslim women. At least in the context of alimony, the top court has ruled that not the provisions of Sharia law, but Section 125 of the CrPC, or the Criminal Procedure Code, will prevail when a Muslim woman is divorced. Here's what the court, viewers, has observed, has ruled. It has dismissed a Muslim man's plea against a High Court order that called upon him to pay maintenance to his wife after he divorced her. The Supreme Court says, and I quote, a divorced Muslim woman can seek alimony under Section 125 of the CrPC now, unquote. The Muslim man, viewers, was citing an exception that was made for the community through an act of parliament in order not to pay her maintenance for the rest of her life. The Supreme Court ruled today, viewers, and I quote, the law for maintenance applies to all married women, irrespective of their faith, unquote. It also said maintenance is not charity, but a fundamental right of married women. It went on to say a person with means can't deny maintenance to wife, children, or parents, and right reinforces gender equality and financial security for all married women. More importantly, it said Indian men must recognize the role and sacrifices made by housewives for the family. Now, viewers, for those who may not be aware of the provisions of Section 125 of the CrPC, here are a few facts. Clause 1, viewers, says that if any person having sufficient means neglects or refuses to maintain A, his wife, B, his legitimate or illegitimate minor child. Remember, viewers, even his illegitimate minor child, married or not, C, his legitimate or illegitimate child not being a married daughter, D, his father or mother, can actually attract the provisions of Section 125 of CrPC. A magistrate, upon proof of such neglect or refusal, will order such person to make a monthly allowance for the maintenance at a rate the magistrate thinks fit. All of this, viewers, falls under the ambit of 125, section 125 of the CrPC. The Supreme Court's order giving primacy to the law of the land over personal religious law, in this case, is reminiscent of the Shah Bano judgment. In 1986, Shah Bano was awarded the same right by the top court, by the Supreme Court, but Congress party, cowed by the furious backlash among its Muslim conservative base, promulgated and passed a law overriding the Supreme Court's verdict. In fact, viewers, it brought in the 1986 Muslim Women Act, which stipulated, viewers, the maintenance should be paid only during iddat period of 90 days after divorce. It also limited maintenance amount only as per dowry given to the woman. It curbed maintenance for children for a period of just 2 years after their birth. It limited maintenance post-iddat period via self, relative or state Waqf board and superseded the maintenance mandated under section 125 of the CrPC, viewers. Can you believe it? Interestingly, some 40 years later, Muslim hardliners are still sticking to their guns. Even today, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board has frowned upon the Supreme Court's verdict. Here is what Muhammad Suleiman, a leading light of the law board, has said. He said the judiciary believes that religious guarantees aren't enough for women. For those sisters who want a decision on divorce under Sharia rules, it will be bitter for them. Those who think that they can get maintenance through court can go there, but it's an unnatural approach, viewers, almost threatening these women with excommunication, even in the face, viewers, of a Supreme Court judgment today. Now, here's a quick look at the list of unequal laws that still exist. Till these exceptions exist in our society, India cannot be considered a fully secular state. Muslim marriage law, viewers, women attain puberty at the age of 15 and can consent to marry. For everyone else, all other women have to turn 18. Muslim polygamy law, men can enter into contractual marriages with 4 women at a time. The Hindu succession law, husband's family are primary heirs, wives' families are secondary, full-blood heirs are given preference over half-blood heirs, viewers. Christian succession law, mothers have no right to property of deceased child. Parsi inheritance law, non-Parsi wives have no right to inherit husband's property. The list is very long, viewers, and I can go into several such exceptions. But let's start this debate. I've set the context. Uniformity is essential for secularism to thrive and prevail in this country. Full secularism, not this, viewers, secular exceptionalism that we see today. Let's open this up. And I want to begin first with the Congress representative here, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, and Dr. Ranganathan. Let me draw them first into this. Mr. Chaudhary, you, of course, are a dyed-in-the-wool secularist. And so many times you have said this to me, that you will lay your life for the cause of secularism in this country, which means, of course, that everyone, every adherent is equal under the law. Now, sir, if you're so secular, do you think it's right that you have so many religious exceptions under the law, that certain set of men can marry 4 times? Shouldn't all these be scrapped so that we become a truly secular nation, like our constitution envisages us to be? And why, if this is the case, did the Congress then bring in this mighty exception through the back door, this 1986 Muslim Women Act, which disadvantaged only Muslim women? Why would it do such a thing like this?
Yeah, Rahul, first and foremost, a disclaimer out here. I am not a representative of the Congress party, though I eat Congress, drink Congress, breathe Congress, and live Congress. That's what I am to the nation. And I will always stand by what my Congress party stands for. I
Okay.
don't have any qualms on that. First and foremost, the way that this entire judgment today is being projected, this is nothing new and nothing of a landmark judgment. Let me just cite you one before I come to my main argument. In the Daniel Latifi versus India Union of India case in 2001, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of the 1986 Act, but extended the right of a Muslim woman to get maintenance till she remarries.
Yes.
There are a number of cases out here, even the Patna High Court case or the 2009.
No, I can take you through others also.
No.
Should I take you through others?
Rahul, before
why not?
Hang
on. I knew you were going to go down this route where you would say, oh, there is nothing new, this, that, the other. So let me, in fact, enlighten our viewers with some of the other exceptions that you are talking about. When the Supreme Court has actually underwritten what it is saying today. So in the interest of fairness, viewers, let me tell you. He is referred to one Latifi case. I will take you through certain others. And why not, viewers? After all, we must know what we are dealing with, who we are dealing with, etc., etc. So, Daniel Latifi case 2001, then there was the Iqbal Bano case of 2007. The court held that the pronouncement of triple talaq does not absolve husband of maintenance responsibility. Iddat period requires husband to provide maintenance to divorced wife. Now, iddat period, viewers, if I'm not mistaken, is about 3 months long. After that, thank you very much. Supreme Court upheld the wife's right to maintenance under Section 125 CrPC in this matter. Shabana Bano case of 2010. I'm sure, sir, you have read all of this, Kamru Chaudhary, and you were going to refer to all of this. But that's not my question tonight. I'm asking you, as a secularist, since you say that I support every view of the Congress party, why doesn't it back the UCC that cuts across every religion? That is a true secular, hang on. True secular provision. Why shouldn't it be brought in? Aren't you a secularist? True secularist.
Rahul, the point, your point of view about the UCC might differ from my point of view.
How can it
my
differ,
belief
sir?
system.
I'm a secularist at heart. If you're a secularist, how can you differ with me on this?
No, I'm coming.
Even our directive principles of state policy in our constitution, written out by your own guru, Dr. Ambedkar, who you sing praises of every day, has said that it must be brought. So how can you and I, being committed secularists, have such a different view of the UCC?
Can I rest my case out here? Please,
you can rest it, but don't argue it, sir. Rest your case. Don't argue it because you're not going to be able to argue it in the face of facts. You know this today.
Till that time, can I have the benefit of arguing?
Sir, you said rest my case. Now you're saying, okay, argue, sir.
The basic point out here, Rahul, is nothing to belittle any religious beliefs out here in this channel or nor on the national media. The fact remains, for the last 1500 years, Islam as a religion had given the rights of property, rights of inheritance to the Muslim woman, which you, according to present day's context, might like it or might not like it. But whether the 1986 Act has credence over the 125 CrPC, that is also debatable. In a series of judgment by the High Courts and the Supreme Court.
Sir, I asked you a very simple question. Forget all this legalese. Throw this out of the window. You are a secularist, sir. You tell me that the Congress party is a secularist and that you believe in everything that the Congress stands for. So why does the Congress have a problem with the UCC? It's a simple question, which brings everybody on an equal plane.
That's what I am coming to. Your belief system may not be my belief system. When a Muslim woman marries...
No, hang on. One minute.
My custom, my tradition will not match your tradition. Why don't you come and accept my tradition then?
Okay, viewers, see, this is the problem.
The UCC?
This is precisely the problem. Kamru Chaudhary has underlined it beautifully. Why should we not have an exception under the laws of this land?
Case of exception.
Why shouldn't we? Of course, you're saying.
My constitution has given me the authority to practice and preach my own religion and the way that is laid down in my tenets.
Sir,
not according
the Constitution has said that we are. No, 1 minute. The Constitution today. 1 second, I'm sorry. I have to stop you there. I have to immediately stop you there, sir. Immediately. Your own Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, sir, from your ranks, from the Congress ranks, and don't distance yourself from the Congress, you even stood for elections from the Congress. You support her. She brought in the word secular and injected it into the preamble. I didn't do it. Nehru didn't do it. Nehru realized that he needed to make these exceptions, so don't put that wretched word into the preamble of the Constitution. The moment you do it, you'll be held to it. Indira Gandhi did, but her son Rajiv Gandhi did exactly the opposite. He communalized the laws, viewers, and gave exceptions. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this tonight?
Perception. That's your perception. That
it's not my perception, it's a fact.
No, the government is with the public, for the public. What the public thinks, perceives, that is the law. You cannot have okay, somebody might be aggrieved by a particular customary law.
Sir, I'm going a bit, you're spinning me around, sir.
That we can always readdress himself.
Sir,
the aggrieved person can go there.
I'm sorry.
Belittle something, demonize.
I'm sorry. No one is demonizing anything, sir. We are talking about one law for one nation.
No, this cannot be the universal truth that one law
that is what the Constitution's directive principle says. Anyhow, that we must aspire.
We can aspire.
So why should we aspire to the greater good?
Then go and tell these people to the
okay, viewers, we must not aspire to the greater good. We must reject the greater good. To make exceptions for... No, hang on. We should not have any...
Rahul,
one second. Listen, please. Now you said your piece.
Finally, those who remain
okay, you want to, sir, you want to hang on to polygamy, you want to hang on to all these divisions, you want to continue to disenfranchise women. It's up to you, sir. I cannot agree with you. And I can't certainly agree with you if it is ordained under a particular religious edict, which unfortunately, viewers, whether we like it or not, does not fall, falls foul of our secular focus that the Constitution today avowedly espouses. In the preamble, the word secular. Am I wrong, Dr. Ranganathan? Am I wrong here?
Rahul, it's very depressing to hear an adult such as Mr. Kabru, my good friend, talk like this just because he is carrying an agenda of the Congress. I mean, he can't go against the Congress diktat, I suppose, but it's depressing nonetheless. Let me explain. Please give me 3 minutes. But before I come to the thrust of the topic, I beg of you to give me 30 seconds to expose his hypocrisy threadbare. Can I do that?
Yeah, please, sir. Don't rest your case, argue it.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Kabru, my good
and
friend...
please take my 30 seconds also.
I will, ma'am. I'll come to you right after. I'll give you 40, 50, 1 minute. Don't worry. We have enough time.
Give Anand my 30 seconds also.
Okay. Dr. Ranganathan, yes. Yeah.
You know, Kabru, my good friend, said he was preaching to you, waxing eloquent, that look, for 1500 years, in fact, it's for 1300 years, but he said, look, Islam has set out some rules. You may not like it, Rahul, but those things exist. And it is not for you to like it. It is the fact that those laws exist. So I want to ask him, does he like the rule 411 that a Muslim daughter is entitled to only half of what a son is? It's a simple yes and no. Does he like this?
She gets her share from the husband's property also.
No one is getting. Stop lying.
Answer the question. A Muslim daughter is entitled to only half of what a son is. A father will give only half. Do you like it? Do you like it?
Point. You have a skewed mentality.
Now mute him. He's been exposed. He's been exposed. Now there's no point.
There's no Muslim girl.
No, one second. Kamru Chaudhary. No, please. You cannot treat a woman. No, you cannot treat a woman. No, you cannot objectify. You cannot objectify like this. 1 minute. Just stop. Just stop.
The discrimination. He's saying the daughter will get from somewhere else also. So, forget the discrimination that the father is happening to the father.
That is what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but this is like suggesting that, a woman is basically, just a disposable, I don't want to get into this. This is very, very difficult.
You must understand that the marriage in Islam is a contract.
No, 1 second, sir. 1 second. Please, just hold on.
To a marriage.
Hold on, sir. Hold on.
Already provisions.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. Just answer. Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, there are other people also on this show. We only asked you for a yes and no answer. You've given us a whole thesis. Now let's rest it. Let's rest the matter. I understand the factual position, but viewers, can you imagine that factual position? It is so discriminatory and disadvantages people, especially people on this show.
And that is why, Rahul, I said there's no point arguing with them, because a moderate is more dangerous than an extremist. Please understand this. The moderate cushions the extremism. That is what Kamru does. But please, now can I come to the topic, because it's very important. And I'm so glad you're discussing this. This has to be intertwined with the UCC. Look, let's be honest about this, Rahul. There are two laws in this country. One for Muslims and one against Hindus. Now, I want to explain this by telling you the extent to which the petitioner in the Shah Bano original judgment, AIMPMB, went to denigrate the women. Do you remember the Shah Bano judgment? Let me quote one revealing line from it, quoting from the judgment. The judges are saying, quote, "Nor are we impressed by the shuffling plea of the All India Muslim Personal Law Board that in Ayat 241, the exhortation for paying maintenance is to the more pious and the more God-fearing, not to the general run of Muslims, Muslimin," unquote. Do you know what the AIMPMB was trying to say? That whatever is written in the Quran, the ayat that talks about alimony is for the God-fearing, is not for the other run-of-the-mill Muslims. This is the extent to which they were going. They were dividing the Muslims who were reading Quran. But the petitioner nonetheless argued that there is no concept of alimony in Quran beyond the iddat period after talaq. And sadly, the Congress and Rajiv Gandhi agreed. Rahul, 40 years have gone by. A uniform civil code, or the UCC, now is not just a necessity for India. It is a prerequisite for India's unity. Religious fanatics may have held ransom a generation previous to ours through partition. They may have held to ransom our generation through Shah Bano. But we will not allow a generation next to us hold them to be ransom for future generation as well. We have to say no to religious fanatics. Enough is enough. Now, there are broadly 4 issues here. I want to go to them one by one very briefly. Number one, on the pretext of diversity, one cannot allow discrimination to flourish, which is what these people want, like Kamru. And that is what has been happening. Just one example. Supreme Court recently conferred Hindu daughters with equal rights to father's property going back to 1949, saying, quote, "Hindu texts recognize female rights," unquote. But in India, because of verse 411, a Muslim daughter is entitled to only half of what a son is. Does this not bother our activists and those fighting for women's rights? Is this not discrimination? For how long will you make Muslim women suffer discrimination by shrouding them in this burqa of diversity? Number two, there already is a uniform civil code applicable in Goa for decades. Goa has a minority population of 38%. Are the minorities in Goa suffering or being discriminated against because of uniform civil code? On the contrary, they seem very happy. Number three, the UCC is enshrined in our constitution under the directive principles. Dr. Ambedkar was a proponent of it. He rejected amendments of exceptionality by Muslim legislators to Article 35, now 44, that asked for the UCC to be implemented. Quote, "I personally do not understand why religion should be given this vast, expansive jurisdiction so as to cover the whole of life and to prevent the legislature from encroaching upon that field. After
Because
all,
Article
what
13,
are
14,
we having
15
this
says
liberty
so.
for? We are having this liberty in order
Anybody
to
has
reform
got a
our
right to
social
practice
system.
his or her own
Number
religion.
four, Kamru, I know you are rattled, you've been exposed, all your progressiveness has been exposed as fundamentalism.
Who
So
keep
do not
silent
interrupt
on
now. I
Okay,
do not
okay,
interrupt.
look, there are two others.
demonizing the Muslim
One
woman
second,
will
Kamru
now
Sahab.
speak eloquent on the
Kamru Sahab,
Muslim
no one is
women.
demonizing anybody. We are just quoting
No,
out of the
this-
constitution and out
my
of Dr.
dear friend
Ambedkar. 1 minute,
Anandji
please.
out
Don't add all these, don't play this victim card all the time to try
This
and
is not
get,
the victim
one
card.
fact checker
This
on
is
your
not the
side so he
victim
can
card.
pass a fatwa. Please, all this is nonsense. Stop doing it. You understand that, let's be reasonable in a debate. Let's equally debate an issue.
No,
I'm
Rahul,
only
the
asking you
point that I
questions.
want to
I'm not
put out
impaling
here
you.
is-
1
just
minute,
give me
1
10
minute. I want to
seconds.
bring in Amber
I'll
Zaidi.
cut off. I'll 10 seconds, just I'll finish
Sir,
it off.
Amber Zaidi
The
को तो
point-
बोलने दीजिए.
Sir, I've
बैठे
been
हुए हैं
10
वो.
seconds,
long.
I'll just
Please
off.
allow me
I'll
to
Then
just
there
off.
is SDPI
point
General
point
Secretary
across.
also with us.
Okay.
मैडम
Okay.
यास्मीन फारूकी भी हैं, उनको भी तो बोलने दो सर. इतना पेट्रियार्की मत दिखाइए. किसी और को भी दीजिए
Well, that's
बोलने
the
का एक opportunity.
basic,
Miss Zaidi,
yes.
Miss Zaidi, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board says this is an unnatural approach. Please don't take it. How will you respond to them? And I also want to bring in Yasmin Farooqi after you. Yes.
Rahul, first and foremost, All India Muslim Personal Law Board. In fact, I would say Maulana Personal Law Board, they are nobody, they are just an NGO. and we are equal citizen of India as everybody else is, and hence we have equal right, and we demand equality and uniformity from the law of the from this government and also from judiciary. And I, as Muslim women of this country, I wholeheartedly welcome this decision. In fact, as in my thinking, this is the bigger relief than triple talaq, because so many Muslim women has been suffering post divorce because they had no options for their financial security after their divorce. And I've been dealing with such women for a long time. Supreme Court, in a very significant judgment, has ruled that a Muslim woman can seek maintenance from her husband under Section 125 CrPC, which is applicable for all women irrespective of religion. And today's judgment is quite similar to Shah Bano's judgment of Supreme Court in 1985, where court provided for maintenance to an old Muslim women under 125 CrPC after that landmark judgment. In 85, the hardliner Muslim clergy and leadership protested against this ruling and demanded reversal of the same. Then Rajiv Gandhi government, fearful of losing their Muslim vote bank, decided to reverse the Supreme Court ruling and then brought a law in parliament which overruled the judgment. Thus, the Muslim women were denied maintenance under 125 CrPC. So today's landmark SC judgment restores the right to Muslim women to seek maintenance at par with every other woman in the country.
Nearly after 4 decades. Can you imagine? 4 decades.
Absolutely.
Yasmin
and here,
Farooqi,
Mr.
madam.
Kamru Chaudhary is sitting saying that basic Muslim women right are their right to practice faith and their culture. Are you out of your senses? We are equal human being, and this is our basic human right. That's not your practice. If you want to practice Sharia, practice is completely practicing your tax laws, practices in criminal laws. Then I will come out in support with you and support this. I'll go against this judgment, because we are Muslim. Will practice Sharia completely. You want to practice, pick and choose as per your convenience? No, that's not going to happen.
Okay,
we are equally citizen of the country, and
General
we are
Secretary,
not going to. Yes.
Let me bring in General Secretary of SDPI. आप मिस जैदी को आज क्या कहेंगी? यास्मीन फारूकी जी, वो कहती है कि हम इक्वल सिटीजन्स हैं इस देश के, हमारे को भी इक्वल राइट्स चाहिए, हमको आप बंधक नहीं बना सकते हैं. यू कांट रिड्यूस अस टू सेकेंड ग्रेड सिटीजन्स.
राजीव जी, एंकर आप हैं या जैदी मैम हैं? ये पहले बता दीजिए. सवाल का जवाब आप.
जैदी मैम एक पैनलिस्ट हैं और वो एक बहुत ज़रूरी आर्ग्यूमेंट डाल रहे हैं सामने. मैं आपका रिस्पांस चाहता हूं उनके आर्ग्यूमेंट पे. सवाल मैंने पूछा है उनके आर्ग्यूमेंट पे, आप मुझे बताइए, क्योंकि मेरे सवाल बहुत कठोर होते हैं. तो इससे अच्छा आप जैदी साहब का ही, जैदी मैडम का ही दीजिए रिस्पांस.
राहुल, मैं आपके कठोर सवाल का जवाब देना चाहता हूं.
तो मैं आपसे पूछता हूं, आपके जो लीडर हैं जी, जो MIM के लीडर हैं, हमारे जो बहुत शातिर दोस्त हैं, नहीं, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं. ओवैसी साहब कहते हैं, चलो ठीक है आपके लीडर नहीं है, आप SDPI की हैं, चलिए कोई बात नहीं, जो आपके लीडर हैं उनकी बात ही मान लेते हैं. वो सेक्युलर हैं, बहुत सेक्युलर हैं, वो कहते हैं. तो अगर सेक्युलर हैं तो मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूं, फिर भारत में रिलीजियस लॉज का क्या काम है?
राहुल, आपके एक सवाल के जवाब के बाद मैं 125 पे भी बात करूंगी ज़रूर, क्योंकि मैंने 10 साल काउंसलिंग की है फैमिली कोर्ट में, तो वो मेरा एक बहुत बड़ा तजर्बा है. पर आपके पहले सवाल का राहुल जवाब दे दूं, मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम हमारी ये है कि हर आदमी ये सवाल मुस्लिम से ही करता है कि UCC पे क्या प्रॉब्लम है. मेरा सवाल ये है कि ये सवाल ट्राइबल से क्यों नहीं करता जिनके एक औरत के 8 शौहर हैं. ये सवाल ट्राइबल वालों से क्यों नहीं करता. और रिलीजन्स में जो चीज़ें हैं, जब वहाँ की बात आती है तो फिर वो बात क्यों आ जाती है कि नहीं उनके कस्टम उन तक रहने देंगे. राहुल, ईमानदारी से आओ, दिल साफ करके आओ. आज आप वो बात कर रहे थे रंगनाजन जी कि बच्चियों को वो नहीं मिल रहा है, 1/4 मिलता है. मैं आपसे वादा करती हूँ, अगर आप मुझे एक एनालिसिस करके ये बता दें कि हिंदू लॉ में जो आधा बच्ची को जाता है, बिटिया को, कितने लोगों ने वो माफ़ करवाया है और कितने लोगों ने अपनी बेटी को आधा दे दिया है. कसम अल्लाह की मैं आपकी बात को सर झुका के मान लूंगी। बात वो करिए जो मानने वाली हो।
ठीक है, मैं आपको बताता हूं, मैं आपको बताता हूं। आपने फिर मेरी बात सुनी नहीं, नहीं आपने फिर मेरी बात सुनी नहीं, क्योंकि मैंने बोला कि हिंदू सक्सेशन लॉ में हस्बैंड्स फैमिली आर द प्राइमरी heirs, ये भी बदलना चाहिए। वाइफ्स फैमिली आर सेकेंडरी, फुल ब्लड heirs आर गिवन प्रेफरेंस ओवर हाफ ब्लड heirs, ये मैंने बोला है।
हाँ,
आपने सुना नहीं? क्रिश्चियन सक्सेशन, नहीं एक मिनट, आपने सुनिए मेरी बात। मैं आप मेरी बात सुनिए। नहीं आपने अभी आपने इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बातें कही। नहीं एक मिनट रुकिए, आप रुकिए। अभी आपने मुझे लेक्चर दी, आपने सुना नहीं जो मैंने बोला अपने इंट्रो में। मैंने सारे फेथ्स की बात की है, क्रिश्चियनिटी की भी बात की है, पारसियों की भी बात की है, सबकी बात की है। और मैं आपसे ये सवाल पूछ रहा हूं, मैं चाहता हूं यूसीसी सब पे लागू हो, आप क्यों नहीं चाहती? आप क्यों नहीं चाहती ये बात? मैं एक सेक्युलर आदमी हूं। नहीं मैं एक सेक्युलर, नहीं मैं कमिटेड सेक्युलर आदमी हूं। आप डॉक्टर रंगनाथन के पीछे पड़ गए। मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं, हम सिर्फ मुसलमानों की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर, हम सबकी बात कर रहे हैं। नहीं आप मेरी बात सुनिए, आपने बहुत बड़ी लेक्चर दी। फारूकी मैडम, आपसे मैं पूछ रहा हूं कि आपको यूसीसी अगर हमने पूरा लागू करना है अक्रॉस ऑल फेथ्स, तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है इसमें?
सारे सवाल मुसलमानों से ही क्यों है? प्रॉब्लम अगर है तो जिन लोगों को भी तो है ना।
डॉक्टर रंगनाथन वांट्स टू कम।
यस, सारे सवाल
देखिए, विक्टिम कार्ड खेल के
सारे सवाल उन्हीं लोगों से किया जाता है।
आप सब कुछ विक्टिम कार्ड के ऊपर लेके आ जाते हैं।
राहुल, मेरी बात नहीं हुई है। जो मेरा सबसे बड़ा बात है वो 125 पे है। राहुल, मेरी वो बात सिर्फ सुन लीजिए, फिर मैं सारे
आप बताइए मैडम, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं।
125 में 125 में मैंने फैमिली कोर्ट में 10 साल एज अ काउंसलर गवर्नमेंट काम किया है। उसमें 125 में हर तलाकशुदा औरत मुसलमान को मेंटेनेंस मिल रहा है। आप कहेंगे तो मैं फाइलें उठा के ला दूंगी। 2005 से डीवी एक्ट जो है, जो लागू हुआ है, उसमें सब लोग, सारी ख्वातीन मुस्लिम आ रही हैं, उसमें सबको मिल रहा है।
आप सबकी बात कर रही हैं, तो फिर ये केस में रूलिंग क्यों आई? फिर ये केस में रूलिंग क्यों आई? क्लियरली
मेरी यही तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है।
ये समझिए, आपने आप क्या सोचती हैं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट जस्टिस ने केस अपने मन से बना के उस पर रूलिंग दे दी? ऐसे थोड़ी होता है मैडम। आप क्या कह रही हैं डॉक्टर रंगनाथन? यस,
मैं क्या कह रही हूँ वो तो सुन लीजिए। 125
सुन तो लिया मैडम,
लाके दिखा दूं जिसमें के
आपने पहले विक्टिम कार्ड खेला, बोला सिर्फ मुसलमानों से सवाल क्यों होता है। फिर आपने बोला कि भैया ऐसे सारे केस तमाम ऐसे ही होते हैं, अंडर ये CrPC के अंदर ही लागू होते। तो मैं बोलता हूं फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मामला क्यों आया? अगर इतनी वो है कंसेंसस है।
फाइलें मैं तो आके दिखा देती हूं आपको।
ये फाइल तो आपने दिखाई नहीं।
आपको दिखाने को
डॉक्टर रंगनाथन वांट्स टू कम,
जिसमें मेंटेनेंस बन चुका है, दिया गया है।
ठीक है, ठीक,
औरतों को दिया गया है।
ओके,
यास्मीन जी प्लीज देखिए। यास्मीन, एक मुझे बात बहुत अच्छी लगी, इन्होंने इतनी पोलाइटनेस से बात अपना तर्क रखा। मैं उससे एकदम वाकिफ नहीं हूं, मैं उससे एग्री नहीं करता, लेकिन मैं उनको धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं कि उन्होंने इतनी अच्छी तरह अपना तर्क रखा। थैंक यू सो मच यास्मीन जी। लेकिन मैं आपसे दो बात पे डिसएग्रीमेंट करूंगा। नंबर 1, आपका जो आर्ग्यूमेंट थी वो ये थी कि और कम्युनिटी की औरतों पे भी अत्याचार हो रहा है, तो जो मुसलमान औरतें हैं उन पे होने दो, आप उनकी बात क्यों नहीं उठाते? आप हमेशा मुसलमान औरतों की बात क्यों कर रही हैं? नंबर 2, आपने खुद कहा कि ट्राइबल की औरतों को भी, देखिए डिस्टर्ब मत करिए, ट्राइबल की औरतों को भी इक्वल इनहेरिटेंस नहीं मिल रहा, उस पे आप नहीं उठा रहे। मुसलमानों को, आपका प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? आप SDPI जनरल सेक्रेटरी हैं, आपका यह है कि मुसलमान औरतों को इक्वालिटी दें और हक दें। आप और ट्राइबल्स और हिंदूज और उनकी क्यों बात कर रही हैं? और दूसरी बात, अगर आप कह रही हैं कि उनको अभी भी इज्जत के,
महिलाएं हैं, वो मेरे लिए बराबर का दर्जा रखती हैं। महिला है, कोई
पहले आप अंदर जैदी को तो एक इक्वल राइट दीजिए। Okay, 1 second. Let's go one by one, please. Dr. Ranganathan, finish your point. Yes.
हाँ, नहीं, एक मिनट। जैसे यास्मीन जी ने रियलाइज नहीं किया कि मैंने एक थोड़ा सा ट्रैप सेट किया था, माफ कीजिएगा। अगर इनके लिए सारी औरतें सेम हैं तो सबके हक के लिए लड़ें और इक्वल इनहेरिटेंस बोलिए। आप चाहती हैं, अब आप बता दीजिए, क्या आप चाहती हैं कि सारी हिंदुस्तानी औरतों को, जिसमें मुस्लिम औरतें भी इंक्लूडेड हैं, इक्वल इनहेरिटेंस शेयर मिलना चाहिए? हाँ या ना बोल दीजिए। आर यू अगेंस्ट 411 वर्स? बोल दीजिए।
मिलना चाहिए,
मिलना चाहिए। तो अगर मिलना चाहिए तो फिर यूसीसी हम लागू क्यों नहीं करें? यूसीसी लाएं हम।
कमरू जी सुन लीजिए थोड़ा सा।
आप ईमानदारी की बात नहीं करते।
अरे भाई ईमानदारी की तो बात कर रहा हूं मैं।
नहीं करते, आप टारगेट मुस्लिम्स को बनाते हो।
देखिए ये पता नहीं आपको ये कहां से, ये आपको कहां से, देखिए you know viewers when people don't want to answer the question, they will play the victim card. I am saying bring in the UCC. What is the UCC? Uniform Civil Code. Uniform. It cuts across everybody.
आपसे थोड़ी है राहुल, बात गवर्नमेंट की है। राहुल आपकी नहीं है बात, आप लागू थोड़ी कर रहे हो यूसीसी।
ओके
बात गवर्नमेंट की है। गवर्नमेंट ईमानदारी से बात करे ना।
Viewers, there is you see viewers, she is catching on to an important point and I will give her credit for that. In one state where the UCC has been brought, an allowance has been made. Dr. Nagarathna, this is a fact. An allowance has been made. Why has it been made? She's right about that. She's right about that.
And
no doubt.
I've been against it on day one.
And we have all been against it. But the point is, viewers, we are all having to move towards it, whether we like it or not. As Dr. Ranganathan says, that this is now no longer just a matter of when, but it is a necessity. If we are to stay united under one banner, this has now become a non-negotiable. Until we have people like Kamru Chaudhary and the others who will play victim card or who will try to spin this argument in a different direction, or we have the Congress or other so-called secular parties who are not adhering to the directive principles or the high mark that we have set for ourselves because of Dr. Ambedkar's foresight, then viewers, we are not going to be secular. Anyone else who's talking about secularism without supporting the UCC is a liar, fraud. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, viewers, they are as big as liars as those who constantly say that India is no longer a democracy. Which will bring me to part 2 of this debate, viewers. This will bring me to part 2 of this debate, viewers. You have heard one set of hypocrites. Now let's expose another set of hypocrites. And let's make that transition. George Soros, the man on your screens, is not going to like this. Neither will a posse of alarmists who have been frantically sounding the metaphorical alarm bell warning of profound democratic backsliding in India, many of whom are also part of the opposition in India. But findings of a global survey on the state of democracy conducted by one of the most credible agencies, the Pew Research Institute, and released in June this year, reveals that 77%, yes viewers, 77%, more than 3/4 of all Indian respondents to this survey are satisfied with Indian democracy or the state of democracy in India. 77%, viewers, contemplate that number, are satisfied with the state of Indian democracy today. The Pew Research Survey was conducted in the context specifically of India before the Lok Sabha elections. Viewers, Indians in fact are by far more satisfied with the state of democracy in their country than the citizens of some of the world's more high-income democracies. If 77% of all Indian respondents are satisfied, then in Canada it's only 52%. In United States only 31%. In the Netherlands 58%. In Germany 55%. In United Kingdom 39%. In France 35%. In Italy 32%. In Spain 20%. In Greece 22%. In Australia 60%. In South Korea 36%. In Japan 31%. In Israel 45%. Viewers, the poll that was conducted, at least with respect to India prior to the Lok Sabha elections, is vindication for Prime Minister Modi, who has been accused of turning Bharat into an autocracy through the executive capture of institutions. That's the charge that has been made against him. And here's what has been said about India's democratic well-being under Modi's 10-year rule. You've had George Soros on February 23rd coming out, 2023, coming out and saying, ending Modi's stranglehold on government will allow democratic revival in India. Freedom House, March 2023 comes out and says democratic rights in India remain under pressure, namely for marginalized groups. VDEM Institute, March 2023, India is one of the worst autocrators in the last 10 years. Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, January 2024, just a few months ago, said no more elections if Modi gets a third term. BJP will rule India like Putin in Russia. Rahul Gandhi in May 2024 says BJP will change constitution in his third term. BJP wants power to get rid of democracy. Viewers, let's open this up. Let's ask some basic questions. Who should we trust? Who should we trust, viewers? George Soros and his acolytes, or the people of this country who have spoken? Sanjay Jha. Who should we trust? The people of this country or some George Soros and some other, as you know, well-funded by George Soros, so-called pretension intellectuals? Who should we trust?
Rahul, let me try and answer you very quickly. Number one, we should trust the Supreme Court of India.
Okay.
Because the Supreme Court of India said, when in broad daylight, the people of India saw how in the Chandigarh mayor elections, there was an attempt, a brazen attempt to actually subvert the entire electoral process. The Supreme Court said, this is a murder of democracy. Let me quote to you. It is a mockery of democracy. And this is being said by the highest court in the land. And as you would know, and I'm sure the other panelists would know, the Supreme Court chooses its words with care. By the way, during the election campaign, we had the remarkable, the extraordinary occurrence of a prime minister, the first time, unprecedented, a prime minister accused of hate speeches to polarize his own country, his own people. One who took oath on the preamble and the constitution was violating the same for electoral gains. By the way, Rahul, like it or not, you can choose one report. By the way, the other part of this report that we need to understand is there are different levels of expectations in a democracy. In India, where we have vast sections of people who believe that democracy is just about going from one election to another, many of them are not aware of the risks that Mr. Modi's government has put us through. Let me give you two more examples, and then I can listen to the other panelists. The washing machine. The BJP puts chief ministers in jail from any political party, obviously opposition. It hounds people. In the Sanjay Raut case, the court had to tell the BJP that the ED's arrest is illegal. We have seen what the Supreme Court has even said on the abuse of power.
Okay.
And last but not the least, electoral bonds. In no democracy, Rahul, let me tell you, can a government operate like a mafia.
Right.
And it uses quid pro quo to procure funds from corporates.
Okay.
And it threatens people with
How do you
jail
know all
if
this,
they don't
Sanjay
want
Jha?
it.
How do you know this happened?
It's all out there in the open.
But
my
how?
dear friend.
Because
What
of
do you mean?
electoral bonds, viewers. That's how we know.
Why don't we talk
Because
about
I'll tell you what was
Reddy
before
case?
the electoral bonds. Hang on. I'll tell you what was there
Talk
for
about
70
the
years
Reddy
before the
case with
electoral bonds,
Arvind
viewers.
Kejriwal.
There was a complete blanket on who and who to whom was giving what funds. And we are back there, viewers, courtesy our great Supreme Court. To that cesspit of anonymity, that's where we have come right back. That's what the opposition wanted. The same opposition also wanted, viewers, the right to have ballot boxes so that they can stuff them with paper. The same
Rahul,
courts
you
that, no,
wanted
one
a
second,
criminal
Sanjay Jha,
mafia
the same courts that Sanjay Jha is calling upon that seem to suggest that democracy is murdered. The same court has pointed out how, in Bengal, for example, viewers, the elected government there doesn't even allow the exercise of the right to cast a vote or even hold elections for lengthy periods of time. And I'm talking about the panchayat elections, viewers, and the Supreme Court's wordings, and Dr. Nagarathna will bear me out on this. The hate speech that Mr. Sanjay Jha is invoking tonight, he forgets that the most vituperative attack on Hindus has come from allies of the Congress party. And the court said please, it's unacceptable. He forgets, viewers, the great contribution of others in suspending democracy, expelling the constitution, in suppressing the voice, because, viewers, we think you are all fools. The same Congress party gets up today and says, what a great victory for the people of this land, that they held Mr. Modi back. Viewers, if we were such an autocracy and we were being ruled by an autocrat like Putin, do you think, viewers, you would have had the right to cast a ballot in the first place to make Mr. Modi look smaller? What kind of an autocrat would he be? But, viewers, we all think you're absolutely foolish. So we can tell you whatever we want and you will believe it. Anyhow, Dr. Nagarathna, let me bring you in, and Salvatore Babones right after that. Yes.
No, but to be honest, Rahul, is there any point? Because you've completely killed the debate with your logic and rationale. For the umpteenth time, please stop interjecting with common sense and logic, because there's no point debating after that. Of course, you're right. But I have no qualms with Congress loyalists talking about democracy is in danger and being selective to the point of extreme. That's what they are meant to do. It's fine by me. Honestly, it is. But what is the truth out here? The truth that even they would not accept is that, yes, democracy is in danger in India. But the fact is, it has always been in danger ever since we became a democracy. They will not accept it because the formulation of laws and constitutional articles and amendments were made by those whose specific purpose was to stifle democracy, to stifle free speech. Who brought in the First Amendment? It is another matter that that First Amendment that curtails our free speech has been used by every politician. So, of course, the Congress will never talk about stifling of free speech by Congress or non-BJP ruled government. They wouldn't. I don't blame them. That democracy has always been in danger. That is the difference. And I don't think that's going to change, because every politician is exploiting all those laws that stifle democracy. Let me give you a couple of examples very quickly. Sanjay, my good friend, talked about electoral bonds. He hides the fact that the same Congress party that called electoral bonds a scam also garnered 1,600 crores from it. If you were to call something a scam, why on earth will you use that same mechanism to get money? Number two, the High Court convicted the BJP of fraud using FCRA and violating it. The punishment was imprisonment. But the fact of the matter is the BJP amended the FCRA Act and escaped the High Court punishment. Who helped it do it? It was the Congress, because the Congress was also convicted. Now I ask you, this system where the Congress is decrying the death of democracy and democracy is in danger, at the same time, they are letting BJP go of large-scale election fraud, electoral fraud. Why? Because they are also corrupt.
And you know, viewers, the sad part is they think that they can pull the wool over your eyes. In fact, they did. That's the beauty of it. They did, viewers. And now you might regret in peace, or I don't know. Let me bring in Salvatore Babones. Mr. Babones, your comments on this new Pew Research poll. Should we give it priority over the VDEMs and the Freedom Houses and all the other playhouses and God alone knows what else? What do you make of it?
Indians are more satisfied than just about anyone else in the world. And this is a very high quality survey. The Pew Research Center does a medium-sized sample survey across India. That's an in-person household-based survey. They actually knock on doors. They get a high response rate. So it's very high quality data.
And,
there's really nothing to
right, but how
complain about the data. It's something that should be taken very seriously.
Very serious. But how do you explain the divergence between the findings of the Pew Research poll and the reportage by VDEM, that other great authority on Indian democracy, and the Freedom House?
There's often a big gap between expert opinion and ordinary voter opinion. I think if we really believe in democracy, which fundamentally means rule by the people, we should be more interested in how satisfied everyday voters are with their democracy than with how satisfied academic experts are with the quality of democracy. There are some cases where we would want an expert opinion about specific technical details, but when it comes to overall quality of a democracy, I think we should take much more seriously what the ordinary voter thinks than what the expert thinks.
That's an important point, and that's why I began by asking, who do we believe, the people of this country or some sponsored academics? Yes, Dr. Ranganathan and Sanjay Jha. Yes.
Yeah, that's where I have a slight variance with the good professor, because yes, in one sense, the democracy and the people matter, their views matter. But on the other hand, when you try and balance it out by saying, look, the others is an expert opinion, I'm sorry, they're anything but experts. They're absolutely sold out charlatan. Let me give you one example. In the VDM report, it is written, and I quote, before 2014, Modi came to power, quote, rarely, if ever, freedom of speech was stifled. True? Is that really a fact? When under UPA, in one day, 8,500 activists were charged with sedition, and the then Home Minister called them anti-national.
Let me ask Sanjay Jha this. Does he agree with VDM and what Dr. Ranganathan has quoted? Do you believe that before 2014, freedom of speech was rarely ever stifled before 2014, Sanjay Jha? Because if you do agree, then VDM is right. If you don't agree, then obviously VDM is wrong.
Rahul, one of the views I have is that, cheerleaders of this government are free to carry on and live in a land of hallucination. Good luck to them. As far as the sociologist is concerned, unfortunately,
I just asked you a question, a pointed question,
I'm
Sanjay Jha.
answering you, Rahul. Give me a second. You can't be such a bulldozer. As far as the sociologist is concerned, unfortunately, sir, you are yourself an academic expert, so you have rendered yourself rather irrelevant in this debate.
No.
And as far as the people are concerned,
no, he said,
it's very straightforward.
one second. Put it. He said that obviously expert opinion can be sought and matters in certain contexts.
Correct.
But let's not throw
Let
the
him
people's
answer for
opinion out
himself.
with the bath. No, I've actually, he's answered for you. I don't want to go over. I have another question for him. I'm asking you this. Do you believe the VDM report is right when it says that before 2014, there was rarely, if ever, a curtailment, a stifling of free speech?
Absolutely, and I agree that there are many sold-out speakers on your show, and I do agree that the academic expert, Mr. Babonas, or whatever his name is, has in fact, I think, scored a self-goal by treating himself as nothing but a theoretical,
so Dr. Ranganathan,
jargon-infested speech maker.
Can you substantiate by telling us if there were any attempts before 2014 to stifle speech?
There may have been sporadic examples,
Sporadic.
Rahul, but at the end of the day, under Dr. Manmohan Singh's government,
Nehru himself
I remember which channel you were in, and that channel regularly attacked Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Brought in emergency. Rajiv Gandhi banned Salman Rushdie's book. What is he talking about? Which Lala land is he living in? There are 275 documented instances of brutal stamping of freedom of speech by Congress. And he says rarely it ever is true. That's what I mean. It is a reason why such people are suspended. The one good thing Congress has done, the one good thing rarely... Now listen, let the PDs not get personal.
Okay, viewers, let me just step in. If someone is telling you, if VDM is saying so, as Dr. Ranganathan has pointed out, that before 2014, there was rarely any stifling of free speech, then viewers, you know what to make of that VDM report. Think about it, viewers. You don't need paid cheerleaders of any government to tell you the facts on this. Just Google them. I'll leave it at this, viewers. We'll be back with another edition tomorrow, but in the meantime, viewers, The Right Stand coming up with Poonam Budde.
खून में दारू मिलेगी, खून में ड्रग्स मिलेगा। 60 घंटे में उसने किया क्या होगा? उसने हर 2 घंटे के बाद अपना खून निकाला होगा, टेस्टिंग को भेजा होगा, हर 2 घंटे के बाद खून निकाला होगा, टेस्टिंग को भेजा होगा। जब उसको टेस्टिंग लैब ने क्लियर बताया होगा कि तुम्हारे खून में कुछ भी नहीं दिख रहा है, पूरा खून साफ है, वो गया अभी पुलिस स्टेशन, अब खून मेडिकल सैंपल लेंगे, ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, क्या करेगा? हिज रिपोर्ट्स विल बी ऑल क्लियर, क्या करेगी पुलिस? मर गई वो बेचारी औरत, अभी उसका कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, जिसने ये सब काम किया उसका कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। आगे जाके ये भी बोलेंगे कि ये ड्राइव कर ही नहीं रहा था।
The main accused in the Worli hit-and-run case, Mihir Shah, has now been arrested by Mumbai police after being absconding for over 58 hours. He will be produced before the court today after being arrested from Virar near Mumbai. Mihir Shah was charged with culpable homicide not amounting to murder, rash and negligent driving, endangering human life, endangering life and personal safety, committing mischief amounting to cause loss and damage. Alongside Mihir Shah, 12 family members and friends accused of aiding his escape have been detained as well. This comes after Shinde Sena leader and Mihir's father Rajesh Shah was granted bail by Mumbai court. Cops have in fact recovered CCTV footage that shows that the car dragged the woman for about 1.5 kilometers, pulling her off the bonnet, after which the accused exchanged seats with the driver, abandoned the car and in fact fled from the spot as well. Meanwhile, another hit-and-run incident was also reported in Maharashtra's Nashik, where a woman died on spot after being hit by a car.
सर अभी जो है पुलिस ने ये कहा है कि मिहिर शाह को अरेस्ट किया गया है शाहपुर से। सर आपको लगता है कि आप कई बार कह रहे थे कि धाराएं सही नहीं लगी है, तो आपको लगता है कि आप जो अरेस्ट किया तो आपको न्याय मिलेगा?
अभी तो न्याय मिलने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि उसको 24 घंटे का अंदर पकड़ लेता तो समझ में आता था। अभी बताओ, अगर उसने गुनाह नहीं किया तो वो छुप क्यों गया? उसने गुनाह नहीं किया तो वो छुप क्यों गया? वो सामने क्यों नहीं आया? अगर उसने नहीं लेके गया, एक्सीडेंट नहीं किया तो वो सामने क्यों नहीं आया?
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
सोच रहा हूँ छोटी छुपा क्यों? इसका राज क्या है? इसमें पॉलिटिकल कुछ है? इधर इसमें कुछ पॉलिटिक्स रहेगा, इसलिए वो छुपा है ना? हाँ, अभी वो ऊपर से वो लोग प्रेशर डालेंगे, हो गया खत्म। क्या कर सकते हैं हम लोग? हम लोग गरीब लोग हैं, हम लोग क्या बड़ा वकील नहीं कर सकते? हमारे पीछे कोई नहीं है।
सर ये भी कहा जाता है इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कि आप लोग जब स्कूटी पे थे तो तकरीबन 1.5 किलोमीटर तक आपकी वाइफ को गाड़ी से धक्का लगा गया।
ऐसा कौन बोला 1.5 किलोमीटर तक गया? अभी बताओ, सीजे हाउस से सीलिंग कितना किलोमीटर है हमको बताओ? सीजे हाउस आप जानते हैं? सीलिंग जानते हैं? फिर मेरा औरत क्या उधर गिर के 1.5 किलोमीटर गिर के क्या चल के गया उधर?
I want him that we should get justice. My mother should get justice. I want him to get this hanging. Like she is in really bad pain. उसको बहुत लगा है. I saw her with my eye. The hospital I saw her. She's in really bad pain. I want her justice.
लड़की को न्याय मिलेगा मुझे, दूसरे कुछ नहीं मांगते मुझे। उसका वैसा मेरे लड़की के साथ हुआ है वैसा ही हुआ। लड़की को न्याय मिलेगा मुझे, दूसरे कुछ नहीं मांगते मुझे। उसका वैसा मेरे लड़की के साथ हुआ है वैसा ही हुआ।
जो पकड़ा गया है मिहिर शाह, उसको कम ज्यादा से ज्यादा फांसी से भी ज्यादा उसको सजा होना चाहिए बस।
Mihir Shah is nothing but an entitled brat. When the accident took place, the least one would have expected that you stop the car and take Kaveri to the hospital. What did he choose to do? He chose to drive with her for 1.5 kilometers where the victim lost life. Honorable Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister have interrogated 18 people. People have been arrested in this case, be it the family members of the culprit or the driver concerned. There has to be fear of law. There will be justice, and there will be natural justice with no political insulation.
हा पब संस्कृतीने महाराष्ट्रात बिघडवण्याचं काम ह्या महाराष्ट्रात झालंय. आता हे जर पब असे रात्रभर चालू असतील, त्यांना काही नियम नसतील, काही अटी नसतील, तर याच्यामध्ये प्रचंड प्रमाणामध्ये
CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time Studio.
Good evening. You're watching The Right Stand with me, Poonam Burde, and we're coming to you from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. A big push has come from the highest court of this country for gender and religious parity. A two-judge bench of the Supreme Court ruled that a Muslim woman can seek maintenance from her husband after divorce under Section 125